In this video I'm going to show how to tilt tabs using the tether glitch. I have first seen this method in a video by BASSMOB MITTE, so big thanks to him. I'm going to link this video in the description. Make sure to check it out because he is showing using the method to tilt tabs non-90 degrees, which can be nice for swept wings and stuff like that. So yeah, give it a watch. Basically I'm using his method and apply it to my trusty old scaffold to get nice alignment of tilted tabs with non-tilted tabs. So I'm first building a small Corvette with all the mandatory parts, but you can of course use an existing Corvette as well. You just have to make sure that some requirements are met that I'm going to talk about next. For building the scaffold I recommend Titan class habs because they have the Thunderbird class habs have some structural problems here in this area, and we are going to use this area to line up ourselves with the scaffold, so it's better if you use Titan habs because they don't have this problem. Now there are two different ways you can build the scaffold. I'm going to show both. In the first one, you're going to place the relay joints, basically half a unit offset in height compared to the normal habs. And in the other, they are going to be level with the other habs. Have to be one further back. Something like that. Make sure that you have a 1 block distance here between the relay joint and the edge, and as well here 1 block distance. We're going to use this line on the hab to line up to place down a part on this wall, and the line between these two habs to place a part down on this wall basically. Now one restriction that you have to follow if you're going to use your own Corvette is that you don't build the scaffold too close to the center of your Corvette. The center is when your Corvette is landed at the Corvette landing pad, the center is where this crosshair is basically pointing at, so the very center is here, and the center of the wall of the relay joint has to be at least 1 block away from this center, because you're going to place a base part, or well, it's a Corvette part, but it will be part of a base. You're going to place this against this wall, and if it's closer than 1 block to the center, then you won't be able to place it because it has some kind of distance limit around this point. So that's one thing you have to follow. And the other thing is the position. Basically, if you look at the Corvette landing pad from the top, this crosshair also segments the build area into 4 quadrants basically. This one here is a quadrant, this is a quadrant, and then we have 2 on this side as well. and you want to build the scaffold in this quadrant and in this quadrant, so mirrored at this point basically. You can of course build it here as well, but if you use the outer wall then to place a tilt tab, you will not be able to snap the hab to it finally, because when you tilt tabs, the base limit volume, the build limit volume also tilts with them. So if you tilt the hab around 90 degrees around this direction, for example, the build volume also tilts around, and then the floor of the build volume, which is usually the floor of the space station, will be at this line and going up to the roof of the space station, and everything to the left will be green and within the build volume, and everything right to this line will be outside of the build volume, basically below the floor, and will be red and will not be placeable. And if you build this scaffold on this side and then place something against this outer wall, this would mean tilting to the right, so the floor would be, everything left here to this line would be under the floor, so it would not be possible to snap a hab to it here. So yeah, maybe stick to the same quadrants I use, or experiment at your own risk. Like I said, there are two possibilities to build the scaffold. The second one we are going to build half a unit higher, because what this will do is the first scaffold, this one here, with the habs at normal height, will basically align the tilt tab so that the edge of the tilt tab is aligned with the edges of the non-tilt tabs, which can be nice for aligning vertical armor pieces with other habs that are not tilted and so on. But if you want to, for example, place weapons or other objects that snap to the middle roof of a hab, when it's tilted, then you need the hab half a unit lower, so that basically the center of the roof is then at the center of the side of a hab and not at the edge of a hab. But you will see we will build all four orientations, two at the half a unit higher and the other two normally, and then we can later compare and see how they differ. So let's raise these habs half a unit. You could also just build the relay blocks higher, but then you would have to, since we're using the tether glitch, you would have to stop the wire. You couldn't stop it at the floor, of course, or you would also get it aligned to the floor. So you'd have to stop somewhere halfway, which is a bit inaccurate. So it's easier if you raise the whole scaffold half a unit. Let's move this back. We can actually use this for the relay joints. I'm not sure, maybe it would be easier if they were higher, but we'll see. Move these to this, oops, move these to the side. Alright, that should be okay. Let's check my notes. Yeah, that's it basically for the scaffolds. Now what you also need is a base, not much more than 300 units away from a nice flat area where you can land your Corvette. And to get such a nice flat area, I recommend looking for a settlement, and then just moving from the settlement center a little bit more than 300 units outside, and place a base computer there, claim the base, and then land your Corvette basically between the center of the settlement and this base computer. This way you can make sure it is completely flat, and the habs that we're going to, the Corvette parts that we're going to glitch on the Corvette won't be at the slight angle because of the terrain. Also, don't be like me and don't develop your settlement, because if you develop your settlement you will of course lose flat area, so just avoid this. Okay, this should be alright, I think. Yeah. It is night now, which is a bit unfortunate, but it still works. So align yourself with one of the white arrows, so that the white arrow is pointing straight down at this nice line here. Then if you get the base building menu, select something that is also in the Corvette menu, for example white light. Hover over your Corvette and then open the build menu again, and you should get the Corvette menu. Then place a light floor against this wall. Height doesn't matter. Make sure free placement, the second button from the right in the bottom row, is active. It's brightening. Morning is coming. Nice. So let's see. Put down this light floor. Nicely centered. Height doesn't matter. Then select another light floor, aim at the planet floor, and now you can see on the right hand side of the screen, under the description of the light floor, there is a orange bar saying editing and the name of your Corvette, and a button is highlighted in front of it, so press this button to switch to base building, and then we're going to use the build camera, the second last button on the button row. Move over to our previously placed light floor and reactivate snap mode, which means deactivating toggle free placement, the fourth button from the right on the button row. Then snap this new light floor to the old one. This was a mistake. Go into base building again, base camera, and then go to toggle edit build, last button on the button row, pick up the old light floor, press the button to switch to base building, the button in the orange bar, and snap the old light floor to the new light floor so that it's in the same position. What this will do is it will switch the light floor over from being part of the Corvette to being part of the base, because we made sure this one was part of the base. And this will allow us to attach wires to this light floor, which is what we're going to do now. First, if you're getting the menu, you can just press the button or move over your Corvette to get the Corvette menu, and then select nutrition unit. Windows also work, but I usually use this one. Aim at the plant floor again, then go to base building, and then toggle wiring mode, the last button on the button list if you're in base building. And then aim at the light floor, and the connector below it should light up in green. If it doesn't, make sure with the button in the orange button row that you're in base building mode. Start placing the wire by clicking, and then move the wire straight down until it starts to pop out of the relay joint, but try to keep it at a position where it just doesn't pop out yet. Then press the cycle part button, first button in the button row, and toggle free placement button, last button in the button row, and then just place the part. You can see we now have a crew berth that is nicely aligned with the existing scaffold. Now let's do that on all 4 sides without talking this time. Now you can delete this remaining part. If you don't, it will just stay here when you fly away because it's part of the base. Okay, that's it. Now we can move back to the space station and enjoy the fruits of our labor. The hab and snap the hab to the crew berths. Like this. Maybe make sure you got some additional habs somewhere, so that if you accidentally delete one, that you still have them somewhere. Okay, now what can you do with such apps? You can do new cool orientations of existing stuff. Whoops. For example, you could build vertical thrusters. Now, yeah, we have a problem that this hab is rotated 180 degrees, and we have to first fix this quickly. Whoops. Oops, I already deleted one that I shouldn't have deleted. So let's not save these changes and let's start fresh edits so that our crew bars are still there. And let's replace these. Let's quickly check which ones are the wrong way. These ones are okay. Here it doesn't really matter, it will be either way anyway. So this one is to the inside, maybe we could rotate this one if you wanted pointing to the outside. And this one is the most problematic one. So let's fix this one. Just do the normal 180 degrees rotation glitch. Place a stairway into the lower hab, so into the one that has its floor exposed to us. And then go back to Corvette editing. Pick up the lower hab where the ladder is inside, and then use the rotation controls shown on the bar on the lower edge of the screen. And now it should point forwards, yep. Okay. Delete this ladder. So again, let's see. Vertical thrusters. Something like this. Or you could take one of these, which can normally only be attached to the side, and attach it to the bottom or the top, like this. It is also useful for things that you at first think it's not useful, like weapons, for example. We can already attach weapons to the side, of course, but what happens when you delete this hab? The weapon pops up, and this doesn't happen here. So this allows you to have weapons oriented this way that are placed against something that is a non-hab, which is not possible otherwise. You can of course tilt reactors as well. It's basically useful for almost any parts. Wings, you can do such nice feet for your starship. You can of course use it to do vertical plating like this. And also on the front if you use one of these habs. Sometimes it's a bit fiddly. I'd have to use another background. Yeah, you get the idea. Maybe put a nice reactor in there as well. Can do a lot of cool stuff with this. Yeah, I think that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and again, a reminder, check out the video by BASSMOB MITTE, linked in the description. And yeah, let me know in the comments what you have used this method for, if it brought you new ideas, new designs. I want to see everything you build with this. Until next time, have fun.